En esta clase vamos a empezar a aprender lo que son los diptongos en español, cómo funcionan los diptongos en español. So in today's lesson, this is our lesson number 294, 294. In our lesson 294, I will talk about the Spanish diphthong. Okay, what is a diphthong and why is it so important in Spanish? Why do we have to learn the diphthong? Okay, so for two reasons we need to know about diphthong and hiatus, right? This class I will teach you diphthong and later I'll teach you hiatus. Because of this, did you see when you're writing in Spanish and you get to the end of the row and you have to write half of the word with a hyphen and then you continue the word in the next row, right? That you need to know how to separate in syllables in order to do that appropriately. You cannot know how to separate in syllables in Spanish if you don't know how diphthongs and how hiatus works in Spanish. And also this is important in order to know how to apply, how to use the Spanish tildes, right? Spanish tildes are a very important part of Spanish orthography, right? Spanish spelling. So in our previous lesson, I think it was the previous lesson, I taught you the first rule of the Spanish tildes. There are 4 rules in total. To learn the second rule, that I want to start teaching you that second rule of tildes. In order to start that topic, I need you to know Spanish diphthongs and Spanish hiatus. So this is gonna be the base, right? The basis in order to go on, to move on and continue learning Spanish tildes. So let me say that briefly in Spanish. Este tema de la clase de hoy es fundamental para poder enseñarles más adelante la segunda regla de los tildes. Segunda regla o segundo uso de los tildes en español. Para eso tenemos que aprender diptongo e hiato. Diphthong, diptongo. Hiato is hiatus. Bien, what is a diphthong, right? What is a diphthong? When you have, in a word, you have 2 vowels together and those 2 vowels go in the same syllable, that is a diphthong. We call that a diphthong. For example, también. The word también means also. También, also, or too, okay? For instance, él también vino. He came too, or he also came. También. This is a diphthong. Why? Because we have 2 vowels together, and these 2 vowels they don't split when we separate the word in syllables. This in syllables will be tam, bien. También. So these form the same syllable, right? When is it an hiatus? For example, the word había. Había is past tense for the verb haber, to be, right? Sorry, haber to have. Había has a tilde here, okay? Había is an hiatus because although there are 2 vowels together as in the diphthong, however, when we separate in syllables, it's like this, a, b, a. So these 2 vowels that are together, they are separated when in syllables, right? They both belong to a different syllable. So this is an hiatus. And here when the syllable does not separate the two vowels, it's called a diphthong, okay? We need to learn when it is a diphthong, when it is an hiatus, right? Which are the rules to know when it has to be separated and when not. And once we learn that, I will be able to teach you how to use the second rule of tildes in Spanish. Bien, tenemos 5 vocales. We have 5 vowels, right? 5 vocales. A, E, I, O, U. 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Las vocales se dividen en fuertes y débiles. Vowels are separated in strong and weak. Vocales fuertes son A, E, O. The strong vowels are A, I, O. Y las vocales débiles son I and U. The weak vowels are I, U. I, U. I, U. Okay? Why is this important? Because of this. You know, in Spanish there is something we call sílaba tónica, the tonic syllable. It's the syllable that carries the strong intonation. For example, the word example has 3 syllables. Example, right? Where is the sílaba tónica? Where is the stress? Which syllable is stressed actually? Example, right? It's that one. In Spanish we call that sílaba tónica, the syllable that is stressed. In this case, también, it's this one, right? También, right? Because the stress in the intonation is in the last syllable, bien. Había, había. This is the sílaba tónica. Of this one is easy to find out because it has a tilde, right? So, whenever there is a tilde, that we know is a sílaba tónica. But there is always a sílaba tónica and there is not always a tilde, okay? For example, the word estufa. Estufa means heater, a heater, to produce heat, right? Estufa. The sílaba tónica is tu. Estufa, because the accent, the stress is in the second syllable. Okay. Now, we have a diphthong when we have 2 vowels together in the same syllable, right? And when those vowels are not separated in the syllable. When do we know that these vowels do not go separated? Because of this. These names are very appropriate. Strong vowels and weak vowels. Let's think of it this way. Let's think of it. If we have weak vowels, if you have two vowels together, the weak vowel cannot be separated because it's weak. It needs to be with another vowel, okay? I'll explain it this way because it's the easy way to understand and to remember. So, weak vowels cannot be separated. Strong vowels are strong, so they can be separated, right? Now look. También, we have I and I. I is a weak vowel. I is a strong vowel. We cannot separate this in syllables because I is weak and cannot be separated from vowel I, right? So, when we separate in syllables, we separate it. Tam, bien, right? This is all one single syllable. Había. Look at this. Había. Here we have 2 vowels together, I and A. A is a strong vowel and I is a weak vowel. Per the rule I just explained, I should not be separated from A, because it is a weak vowel. It needs to be with A. However, since it carries the sílaba tónica, the stress of the word is on the I, right? Then it becomes a strong vowel because the accent is right on that vowel, right? Abia, the accent is on the letter I, on the vowel I. So because of that, it's as if it becomes strong vowel. Therefore, abia. Therefore, we have two strong vowels. I that became strong because of the accent, and A because it is a strong vowel. Now, if we have two strong vowels, like here, I with tilde and A, and one of them carries the accent, right? Like here, we have an hiatus, and this one carries a tilde because of the hiatus. Okay? Okay, I will explain about the tilde better when we talk about the second use of the tildes. Now I want to focus more on the hiatus. So, I and A are separated in two different syllables, right? Why? Because we have two strong vowels together, right? I with tilde and A, and the first one of both is a stressed vowel, right? It has the accent, the stressing of the word. Therefore, these two are separated in different syllables. So remember again, I is a weak vowel. However, it becomes strong because it's carrying here the strength or the stressing of the word, right? Abia. Let me give you more examples so you can understand this concept well. Estufa, for heater, is it a diphthong or an hiatus? It's actually nothing. It's neither of both. We don't have any vowels together here, right? This is neither of both. The word camión. The word camión means truck, a truck. Camión. Here, we separate this in syllables like this. Camión. Camión. So, how do I know that these two vowels go together in the same syllable? Right? Why not ca-mi-on? Why is it ca-mion? Because this is a diphthong. How do we know it is a diphthong? Okay, here is a reason. Look, I and O. Remember what I told you. O is a strong vowel. O, strong vowel. I is a weak vowel. I is a weak vowel. So, you cannot separate these two vowels. Why? Because I is weak. It cannot stay alone. It cannot stay alone. You cannot separate it from O. Therefore, they have to go together in the same syllable. Therefore, this is a diphthong. Remember, diphthongs when the vowels stay together in the same syllable. Hiatus, where the vowels are separated. So, vowels that are together in the same word, they are separated in different syllables, right? Like abia, this is an hiatus. This is a diphthong. Okay, well, here we have an accent, right? We have a Spanish tilde. However, it doesn't change anything here because the Spanish tilde is on the O, which is already by itself, per se, it's already a strong vowel. So it's strong and it remains strong. Nothing changes with the tilde. If the accent or the stressing where on the letter I, imagine there is a word called camion with the accent on the I, camion, right? There, the letter I would become a strong vowel because of the accent, and therefore we would have two strong vowels, I and O. Therefore, they would be separated in different syllables, and that would be an hiatus. However, since the word camion is carries actually the accent on the O, right, the word for truck, then it is a diphthong, as you can see here. Another example. We said también, camión, cambiarse. The word cambiarse, to change. Cambiarse, right? Cambiarse is to change somebody's clothes, okay? Or to change something, it's simply cambiar, right? This is a, let's see if this is a diphthong or an hiatus. We have a letter I, vowel I, which is a weak vowel, and we have A, which is a strong vowel, okay? So, where is the accent? Where is the sílaba tónica, the stressing of the word? Cambiar, right? You have to pronounce it aloud, at least mentally, right? To see where, in which vowel is the stressing of the word. Cambiar. As you can see, the stress is in the letter A, right? Letter A. Cambiar. Letter A is already a strong vowel. Nothing changes, right? It's already a strong vowel. So, we still have a weak vowel with a strong vowel. Remember that a weak vowel cannot be separated. Why? Because it's weak. It needs to be together with the other one. So, when we separate this in syllables, we leave these two together. Cambiar, biar. So this is a diphthong, right? And there are other examples where you have two weak vowels together. Let me see if I can think of any. Look at this one. Wir. Wir. The verb wir means to run away. To run away. Run away is wir. Estoy huyendo. I am running away. Right? So, here we have two weak vowels. Two weak vowels, right? I and you. Wir. So, since these are two weak vowels, they cannot be separated and left alone in syllables, right? We cannot do this. U, ir. Why? Because each one is a weak vowel and it cannot stay alone. So, this is actually not separated in syllables. This is actually a monosyllabic word. Wir is one single syllable. Wir. You cannot separate it. If you're writing and you reach the end of the line, you cannot do this and continue writing ir. You cannot. Because wir is one single syllable. It's monosyllabic. So you either write it all here, or you write it in the next line. Wir. Right? So, remember, diphthongs you cannot separate in syllables. Hiatus you can separate in different syllables. Another example of hiatus. Let's see if I can think of an hiatus with two strong vowels. For example, aerobics, right? Aerobics. It's the aerobic gym, right? In Spanish we call it aeróbica. Aeróbica. Okay? Aeróbica. Aeróbica is separated in syllables.